So today we're going to dive into this really provocative idea from an author named Arif Anis. He paints a picture of a country that is, for all intents and purposes, a walking contradiction. You've got a nation with two totally different faces, and it's operating in a way that just seems to defy all logic. All right, let's just get right to the heart of it, the main puzzle the author throws at us. I mean, how on earth can a country be both on the verge of going bankrupt and at the exact same time be an absolutely indispensable player on the world stage? It sounds completely impossible, right? Well, stick with me because we're about to unpack this whole paradox. Okay, first, let's talk about the side of the story that most people are probably familiar with. This is the portrait of economic dependency. The author really paints this vivid image of a nation holding out a begging bowl in one hand, constantly looking for help. Now, this is where it gets really wild. Look at this contrast. On one hand, you have the country going to the IMF, asking for loans, which is, a pretty clear sign of financial trouble. But at the very same time, that same country is out there acting as a mediator in these huge global conflicts. I mean, how do you even do both of those things at once? And the author really digs into this tension. He points to something super real, a currency that's falling in value, which affects everybody's day-to-day life. But then you look at the international stage, and the country's prestige, its importance, actually seems to be going up. It just doesn't compute, does it? Right, and this slide just lays it all out, plain and simple. The financial capital, it's in the red, the budget's in deficit. But the geopolitical capital, its power to actually influence what happens in the world, is at an all-time high. This whole situation just sets the stage perfectly for the other side of this story. So, let's switch gears and look at that other hand, the one that's not holding a begging bowl, but, as the author puts it, is holding the entire world. He then lays out this whirlwind of high-stakes geopolitical moves that he says were all happening at the same time. It's a lot, so buckle up. Okay, first up, at the same time the country was deep in negotiations for an IMF loan, it was also trying to manage the incredibly explosive situation in neighboring Afghanistan. We're talking two massive, all-consuming efforts happening simultaneously. And then you've got this incredible superpower balancing act. The text talks about embracing a relationship with the US while at the same time holding truce talks with China. I mean, successfully navigating that divide alone is some next level diplomacy. The complexity just keeps going when we look at the Middle East. The author says the nation showed solidarity with Iran, but at the same time it was condemning attacks on Saudi Arabia. That is a razor-thin tightrope to walk between two massive regional rivals. But the author's claims get even bigger. This wasn't just about balancing acts. The text gives Pakistan credit for stepping up as a global mediator and playing a critical role in stopping a situation that could have led to a really devastating attack on civilians in Iran. And it doesn't stop there. He goes on to claim that in the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most tense, most critical shipping lanes in the entire world, it was Pakistani influence that was key to making sure ships could get through safely. And then we get to the biggest, most mind-blowing claim of them all. The author argues that when you add all of this up, the final result is that Pakistan pretty much single-handedly prevented a third world war from breaking out. Wow, just a staggering thing to claim. So with all this global drama happening in the background, averting wars, mediating between superpowers, the whole shebang, you're probably wondering, what were the regular people doing? Well, according to the author, they were working from home a few days a week and watching cricket. The Pakistan Super League, to be exact. The whiplash between those two realities is it's honestly hilarious. So, what gives? How do you explain any of this? A global heavyweight that's also nearly broke? With the population just chilling out watching sports? The author has a one-word answer for all of it. The Jugaad miracle. Now, if you haven't heard the term, Jugaad is this incredible concept. Think of it like frugal innovation or a really creative improvisation. It's that clever hack you come up with to solve a huge problem when you have almost no resources to work with. It's basically innovation born from just pure necessity. And this is the author's big idea, his central thesis. He says Pakistan isn't really operating like a normal country at all. It's a living, breathing miracle of Jugaad. And that, he says, is the only way you can possibly understand how it can be both bankrupt and indispensable at the very same time. So here's the kicker. You just can't analyze this using any of the normal rules. You're not going to find this in a textbook. As the author says, no business school on earth has a model for a country that begs for money with one hand while, as he puts it, saving the world with the other. So let's just try to picture what this Jugaar model looks like in action. It's a system where, yep, you take out loans and you stop wars. It's where you somehow find the time to watch cricket in the middle of these huge crises. The author says it's a place where just surviving day to day is a miracle, and yet, somehow, performing miracles becomes just routine. The author wraps it all up with this incredibly powerful thought. It's this mix of total exhaustion, immense pride, and deep faith. It just perfectly captures the spirit of his whole argument. This idea of not just surviving, but thriving on chaos and making the impossible happen every single day. And so the author leaves us with this final thought, a nation that just completely refuses to play by the rules. It's a really fascinating, if totally unorthodox way to get by in the world. But it does make you wonder, right? Can a system that's built on constant hacking and crisis management, can that really be sustainable forever? That's the big question at the heart of the Jugaar miracle.